name is Rania, and today we're going to be talking about cerebrospinal fluid. Okay? Now you might be wondering, what is it? Cerebrospinal fluid is a clear colorless body fluid found in the brain and spine. The brain and spine is also known as the CNS, the central nervous system. Now, how is it produced? Well, it's produced in the coiler plexus of the brain. If you look to the diagram on my left, you will see that it's basically in the walls of the brain vesicles. Over here, you have the carotid plexus of the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle is over here. The third ventricle, the carotid plexus of the third ventricle, the lateral ventricle, and the carotid plexus of lateral ventricle. Basically, the red marks over here and over here are the carotid plexus, and that is where the cerebrospinal fluid is produced. Now, furthermore, what is the function? Well, the function of the CSF protects the brain tissue from jolt or hit, like for example a car crash, or if you trip and fall and you hit your head, it protects you from that. In certain situations such as sports and such, the CSF cannot protect the brain from forced contact with the skull case, which means that it could cause brain damage and sometimes death. Another function of the cerebrospinal fluid is that it carries glucose and other chemical requirements from blood to the nerve vessel. Basically, when you inhale and exhale, the glucose in your bloodstream and other chemical requirements. It also reabsorbs into the bloodstream, into the a rhabdoid villi. If you look at this diagram over here, this shows the circulation of the cerebrospinal fluid, which is CSF. Now, if you pay attention to number 1, which is over here, the CSF is, like I stated before, the CSF is produced by carotid plexus of each ventricle, which is located over here. That's what's happening there. And then if you move down to 2, you will see that the CSF flows through the ventricle into the subarachnoid space, which is over here. And if you follow along to 3, you will see that the CSF flows through the subarachnoid space. And then last but not least 4, you will see that the CSF is absorbed into the dural venous sinus and the via arachnoid villi, which is right over here. Now, furthermore, the CSF occupies the subarachnoid space, which I stated over here. Take a closer look, and that is between the arachnoid matter and the pia matter. If you zoom in right here, you'll see the flow. The arrows show the flow of the fluid. And in conclusion, if you come to my right, you will see this diagram shows the CSF flow from the central nervous system, the CNS, through the spinal cord, CSF flow. If you move right with me to the left, this here shows the nerve branches from the spinal cord at specific points. So first and foremost, you see how it is from the brain. Then you go to the cervical region, which is C1 through C8. Then you slowly move down to the thoracic region, which is T1 through T12. Here's your spinal nerve, I'm sorry. And if you lower it down, you will see the lumbar region L1 to L5. And last but not least, the sacral region S1 to S5. This is it's showing you in sections how the cerebrospinal fluid is flown. And the last diagram for tonight is right here where you see the doctor injecting a needle into a patient, and they're injecting it into the spinal cord, where right here, if you could zoom in for me please, right here you see the cerebrospinal fluid and how the spinal needle is going right in there. In conclusion, I hope that I have given you some knowledge or added to your comprehension of cerebrospinal fluid. Thank you.